Hello, Namaste, Sat good evening. Welcome to the S.S. Chandhok Talk Show. I'm your host and moderator, S.S. Chandhok. Today, we have gathered here to discuss about a very important topic, that is blending learning in mathematics. The main reason of starting this season is that we see that during the middle school, that is 6th, 7th, 8th, children, they have started taking the burden of mathematics with them. Till grade 5, they enjoy, and in 6th, 7th, 8th, they feel that mathematics is a very difficult subject, although it is very easy. How can we gap up this problem with the kids? This is the main aim of the session. And we have very eminent guests today. Without taking any time, I'll introduce you to the very first eminent guest present over here. First of all, we have Aradhana Rana ma'am. She's a director and principal of Icon Public School, Ahmednagar. Ma'am is the founder, principal, and director of the Icon Public School in Ahmednagar. She's a dynamic speaker and conducts workshops for teaching spoken English, soft skills, and personality development. She conducts teachers training, parenting workshops, and life skill training for schools and other institutions. She has authored several books on the subject. Her first books published in 2005, Communicate with Ease, Speak in English, Please, and the second, English Communication, Made Easy, are being used as course books in colleges and spoken English institutes. English Methods, written by her in 2009, is a graded series of 8 books to improve grammar and spoken English of school children. These are being used as course books in schools all over India. She wrote Correctly Spelling in 2021, and now her series Master English is due to be released in Feb 2022. I might have released, ma'am. Aradhana ma'am is also an ardent traveler and has several blogs have been winning heart all around the world. She has been a panelist and moderator on numerous conferences, events, and summits on national and international platforms. She is the member of WICCI Wiki and the recipient of many awards and honor in the field of education. She is also associated with so many associations on national and international levels that it will not be easy to count. We welcome you, Radhana ma'am. Welcome again to the show. Please, we'd like to know about your educational journey. Are you in this profession by choice or by chance? And how did you reach from a teacher to a director?
Thank you, Mr. Chandhok. Always a pleasure to be on your show. My educational journey took place as life took its twists and turns. I did not really intend to be a teacher in a school. I aimed to be, a research scholar and, all that. And then I got engaged to an army officer and life took a different turn. So while I was doing my PhD, then I left it and did B.Ed. So women, they are led by these kind of things, but no regrets at all, because I believe that if you really want to do something, the area of your work does not matter at all. So though I did not set out to be a teacher, but by default, I became a teacher. And definitely, I was a science student. So, English was never my forte at that point of time. But see how life takes its turns. And, I became an English teacher. And then I developed such a passion for the language that, I taught English, I wrote English, I breathe English, I speak English. It's just that, that subject is so dear to me. So from my own life journey, I always tell people that it is not what the circumstances or whatever, it's your own passion, and you can change your path of life. You can carve a path of life for yourself. What is needed is perseverance and passion. So during, my husband's career, we shifted to a lot of places, and, life took you through various schools. So a lot of varied experience. I've taught from nursery to college level, every possible age group. But when he retired, I opened a spoken English institute, and then, the writing took place then, because I realized that English was a language that needed to be spread in the spoken form, because India has a very small population of people who speak good English. Everybody speaks English, but good grammatically correct English is what is the need of the hour. So this is how it started, and I started writing books. And another day, someday I must tell you about the journey of writing, because it's very, very interesting, but this is not the forum. So then I started the school with my husband, the Icon Public School. And now 16 years down the line, it's a senior secondary school. And we are sort of partners in the school, and it's really now my lifeline. So this being the journey, I was a little apprehensive being invited to a mathematics forum, but never say die. And I think when you're an educator, all subjects, the way you mentor students in any subject basically remains the same. And now I'm at a level where it is not any subject per se. It is a method of teaching. It is method of motivation of teachers. So all this matters. So I very happily took on this challenge when Mr. Chandok offered me this, and let's see. I'm very eager to know mathematics experts, talking about it.
No, it's not a matter of mathematics, ma'am. And the administrators,
Yes.
they're always all rounders. They need to know about every subject.
Yes.
Basically, it's not about the subject. It is about the problem faced by the kids during the middle school. We have to talk about that. So we are not going into any calculations, ma'am.
Exactly. When you told me that, I was relieved. I said, "Oh, it's not."
You don't want to calculate anything, ma'am.
Yes.
We are all rounders, and Ginny, I told you, ma'am. We have to do everything, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next, we have
Mr. Chandok. Sorry for disturbing. My teachers wanted to know, is the link available for them? I would.
No, ma'am. It is a recorded session, and after the editing, the link will be shared.
Okay. Right.
Next, we have a very special guest, Shikha Banerjee, ma'am. She is the principal of a very, very prestigious school in Kanpur, which is going to spread all over India now. Seth Anand Ram Jaipuria School. She is the principal of the basic and the founded branch, Kanpur, from where the first school started, and it's heading around 20 plus school now all over India. Ma'am has an experience of 31 years, more than 3 decades, and she has worked with numerous institutes, of very branded institutes throughout India, and a large part of time also she had in Seth Anand Ram Jaipuria. Ma'am is postgraduate in English, and a very tough subject, we call it as Sanskrit also. That's not you, ma'am. You have done PhD, post-graduation in Sanskrit also with a B.Ed. She has diploma in primary English teaching, certified diploma in guidance and counseling, certified internal auditor, trained by BVQI for GD certification. Ma'am is expert in CBSE and ICSE affiliations also. She has established many schools in Pan India, and she is a versatile personality. Being in Kanpur, I'm not able to meet her because she's a big personality. You have to get the courage to meet her. It's a wonderful pleasure, ma'am, that you have spared your time and come to our show. Welcome, ma'am. Ma'am is also, she has got so many awards on national and international level, and also associated with so many associations on national and international level. We welcome you, ma'am. Shikha, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming. Please let us know about your educational journey, ma'am, please, as an educationist.
A very good evening to everyone. The moderator, Mr. Chandok, and all the esteemed panelists today. If I have to talk about myself, once one of my students had asked me, ma'am, if you had not been into the education industry, where would you have been? I thought for a while, and then I told them I couldn't have been anywhere else. I am a born teacher. I say born because in my childhood also, I used to pretend to be a teacher, teaching all around, and later on realized that probably this is the best thing that I can do with myself, and in the process do something for the society, for the children. Because according to me, just like a doctor, a teacher has a very noble profession. You can do the best justice to your students, and somewhere if you are not on the right track, you may spoil several lives. So I took this up not just as a profession. I feel extremely passionate about being with children, motivating them, taking them towards the right track. And in today's 21st century, I feel happy that now my group particularly is very focused about a holistic development, not just about curating academicians. It's not about academics. It is about a complete holistic education where we talk about physical growth, mental growth, emotional challenges, and in the process prepare the children for the world of tomorrow. Because see, we are at a place where we belong to the previous era, dealing with the present, which is looking forward to a future which is not yet very clearly defined. So we have a huge challenge to take, and I feel happy being a part of it, learning every day something new and taking it forward, taking it as co-learners with my students. It's a huge experience, and I'm sure all my panelists, educationists feel the same way. It's not just a challenge, it's a pleasure that you derive about discovering and rediscovering yourself every day.
Amazing, ma'am. Please let us know in which schools you have worked, ma'am, from as a teacher and now as a principal.
I began my journey from Jamshedpur. I belong to Jamshedpur. I was in Jamshedpur in schools like Little Flower School, in Kerala Samajam Model School. Then I came to Delhi. I was in Ganga International School. It's a residential school. I was there. Then I was in Chhattisgarh, DPS Raipur. I was there. After that, I came to Gateway International School. That is in Haryana, Sonipat, in the NCR region actually. Then to Jaipuria, back again to Gateway, then again to Jaipuria. I've been shuttling, and thankfully, wherever I have worked, people wanted me back. So there's a lot of shuttling I did. Left an institution, went back there again because they wanted me there. Till today, I share a very congenial relationship with all my management members, and I feel very happy and proud about it.
Amazing, ma'am. Amazing, ma'am. You're a wonderful personality. So many teachers from Jaipuria, they have approached me that, sir, can we get the link? Ma'am, we want to see, ma'am.
Yeah, I got the message, so I didn't give an answer. So maybe you can share it later. Yes,
sure, ma'am. As soon as it will be live, we'll be sending to them and you also, ma'am. You have so much, followers, people who are following you, and they want to, they become 1% of you, they feel that they have, attained their aim in life. That's great, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm surely will like to meet you someday and get something from you that as an, as a senior, you can, guide me also that how can I move further. Thank you so much.
It's always a mutual sharing, Mr. Chandhok. Has got nothing to do with age or experience. We learn from one another.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. Next, we have Mr. J.K. Agarwal. He is the principal of Aryan Public School, Ajmer, Rajasthan. Welcome, sir. He is presently leading Aryan Public School as CBSE affiliated senior secondary school in Ajmer, and is also a resource person with CBSE, COE Ajmer, and a national coordinator of CED Foundation. It's a continuous progress development program for teachers. He has resource person, he is principals and school ranking awards program, but also works in 30 different countries in the globe. So he's in CED. Mr. Agarwal has done his MA in English from the University of Rajasthan and presently doing his research following his PhD program on the Department of English, JNU. If we analyze Sir's past experience, Sir has served one of the best institutions in Rajasthan and India, Mahavir Public School, Jaipur as HOD and BGT English for 13 years. He has been a recipient of so many awards from national and international level. He is also associated with many associations and received awards also. We welcome you, Agarwal sir, in the show. Please let us know that again, that are you in this profession by chance or by choice, and how did you rose from a teacher to a principal?
First of all, a very warm good evening to the gathering here, and very prestigious people are here. I am nobody in front of you people, but then yes, I would say that yes. Am I audible?
Yes.
I would say that yes, I am by choice. I come from a very humble background. When I had to, after class 10th, I had to earn my fees, my living, and so I was giving tuitions to students right from class 10th or even before. So by and by, got so much into it, the system, that now after completing my graduation, just went for doing B.Ed, and I found that yes, this is one of the best suitable jobs which I could do, and I would be able to do justice also. And then journey began formally in 1999, and it's been almost more than 2 decades now that I have been teaching the subject of English, and then last few years I've been doing as a principal as well. The only thing is, whenever I get associated with any institution, I try my best that yes, I'm 24 into 7 into the system, thinking about them only, and there is no other idea beyond that. And
Amazing.
that only has given the passion and the results. The like ma'am Shikha was just sharing that she has been to this school, that school, and they have been always, inviting, and they were so much. They developed so much liking for ma'am and her passion for work that she was always a first choice, first priority everywhere. So I don't meet that level, but yes, wherever I have worked, the people are still associated with me, and all managements they still invite, and we often meet and we have good cordial relations with each other. There are a few platforms where I've been moderating certain sessions, and moderating and rather anchoring school programs have been my passion. I just love doing this job. And of course, when recently, like we had an event there in Delhi in Le Meridien Hotel, and it was a great pleasure to meet people after 2 years. And there were so many people they came across, and they are of course principals of some very big huge schools coming you and asking, oh, you are JK Agarwal, we have heard you a lot about, and we have heard you on Zoom and you speak so well and all this. So this is what I just love doing for students and teachers and everywhere. And yeah, of course, mathematics has never been my subject, but I just love talking about maths. And that's why Dr. Chandok, when he was approaching me last month, I think it's been a month or so, he has been approaching. But since my wife was not keeping well, I had to travel Jaipur, Ajmer, because they are close cities. So then she was operated and all this. So today, fortunately, we got a chance and we are meeting, and it will be great discussing with you. And
Thank you
I
so much,
have
sir.
certainly have certain things which relate with mathematics, and I am writing a book also on maths, being a teacher of English. I'll discuss
Amazing,
that.
sir. We'll discuss about that, sir, in the further session. Thank you so much and welcome, sir. And I hope your wife is well now.
Yeah,
Uh,
she's
yes,
on bed
next.
rest now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next, we have Pratima Sinha, ma'am. She is the CEO of DSR Education Society, Hyderabad, which is running the many schools by the name of Birla Open Mind. Ma'am holds the position of Chief Executive Officer at DSR Education Society, Hyderabad. The society has 7 schools named Birla Open Mind International and preschools in Hyderabad. A postgraduate in education with diploma in early childhood education and business English. Many new initiatives have been initiated under her leadership. She has headed schools with CBSE, ICSE, Cambridge, and IB programs. She has also held the position of regional academic head with Pearson Education. She is an EDXL Pearson Teaching Training certified trainer. All the organizations that she has joined, she with her clear vision raised the bar of work environment. She is on the advisory board of the organizations like IECS and ISLI, Next Education, and EdSense. She has been invited as a speaker to various national and international forums and conferences. She has also been recognized and awarded by various organizations from her depth work in the field of education on national and international level. All otherwise, also she has also been awarded with so many awards that in 2 3 rooms she has kept those awards on national and international level, which doesn't ma'am shows on her background even. And welcome, ma'am, and thank you so much for joining us again. It is happy to see you again, ma'am. And ma'am is, and I told you, ma'am is the chief executive officer, CEO of the all the schools. Ma'am, please let us know again that you are by chance or by choice and about this TSR Education Society.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chandok, for inviting me today. I know last time I couldn't make it, but you know how it happens sometimes, whether by chance or by choice.
Ma'am, when you don't are not able to you make it, we don't leave you also.
Yeah, that's what
This
I'm
is
saying. You keep coming back to us again and again.
That's the passion
Um,
which he maintains.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
So good
Yes.
evening to all the panelists. My journey also has been not by choice but by chance, as Aradhana ma'am told. I was married very young and I didn't know what to do. And somewhere, somehow, in 1985, a school was starting in Hyderabad and they approached me that, would you like to join? And, I jumped at the chance because I was just sitting at home and doing nothing. And I had a lovely mentor in that school. In fact, I'm very sad to say that she just expired 2 days back.
Oh,
And she was the one I would say that who guided me into the right direction, who made me understand that what everybody is talking about, the passion towards education and towards teaching. She was the one who actually held my hand and led me towards that. And I feel I have reached at this position today because of the focus that I have towards my work. Yes, passion is definitely there, but the focus, and that is what I keep telling all the teachers. In fact, my colleagues have retired also, and, being the same class teacher for years together. But I feel that life is all about more and more and more, and I do not want to just sit back and let it go by. I would like to be part of that this life, and want to live with lots and lots of happening every day. So this is my journey, and today I have quite a number of schools under me. And as everybody has mentioned that we enjoy our work. That is the most important thing, and that is what I think keeps us young also. And when we meet youngsters, when we talk to youngsters, we learn a lot from them. We understand that this is what is expected from us, and then we start feeling young. So that is the beauty of this kind of work that we are doing. And yeah, I think that's my journey. And every day is a learning experience.
Amazing, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, and welcome, ma'am. It's good to know because people should also know that, how have you people have worked and how have you reached over there. It's not so easy to reach. You have to work, you have to be dedicated, and there are n number of things which has to be added up in a teacher. First of all, you have to teach yourself as a teacher. Then you have to add up many, many things into that. Then only you can become an administrator. Thank you, ma'am,
Yeah,
and
so
welcome,
I
ma'am.
actually joined as a class one teacher in 1985. And
Oh,
that is what
great.
the journey is. You can imagine the journey then.
See, when you have worked
yes.
with the different classes and different level, you are able to control the things better. Like we were PGTs and straight away became administrator. So that difficulty level is still there. Somewhere it misses. If you have taught in almost all the classes from pre-primary to secondary and senior secondary, that's a much better experience. You are able to know your students more properly as compared. Thank you, ma'am, and welcome, ma'am. Next we
Chandok sir,
have
here I want to add just, I'm so sorry in between, I'm
sure,
interrupting you.
sure.
If a person can manage his class, irrespective of the level or the grade, can manage anything. Can manage anything.
Sir, I
Because
went to
the manage,
one of the, but I will not accept with this because there are exceptions also. There was a teacher who was not able to even control a class when I was a teacher. From last 8 to 10 years, she is a principal in a very good school.
oh great.
I don't know how.
I
Though,
accept exceptions.
although she was an inspiration when she can become a principal, so everybody can become a principal. She's a source of inspiration for us,
See, at
right?
any given point of time, you can decide things are not going to end like this. So this may happen. Exceptions are always accepted.
Always there. Yes, sir, yes. That was a part of joke, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Next, we have Mr. Nilbat Shah, who is the expert of today. He's the co-founder of Counting Well. He has, started up a maths learning app for the middle schoolers. The goal is to make maths learning easy, anxiety-free, and participative for the children across the country. Their focus is to help the so-called average students become more confident with maths and develop great problem-solving skills. They step in where school teachers are not able to provide personalized attention due to lack of time and bandwidth. He is also a design. He's also in a designing career and life lesson courses for the age of 10 to 14 age group built around maths. Kids must know that maths matter and it will matter throughout their life. The best to do that is to show them how. So this is his aim when he's talking about mathematics. He has, he has over 2 decades of experience in various roles, including executive position in education, B2B marketplaces, IT consulting, and coachings and mentoring services. He has handled roles in service delivery, product management and development, education content, and curriculum development. Prior to starting Counting Well, he was a part of the founding team of Tescra, a US headquartered IT consulting firm. He was its managing director for Indian operations and senior vice president of global delivery and delivery services to Fortune 500 companies globally. At Tescra, he also co-founded another entity, Achent, ACHNET, a marketplace for delivering coachings and mentoring service globally. And basically, when I will talk about him on a personal level, I met with him in a show and I talked to him about that what is he doing, what is this Counting Well. He told me that this is the app we have started where we are bridging up the gap of mathematics learning, especially with the middle school students, where till grade 5 the students, they have a lot of interest in the mathematics, but we can up to 6th, 7th and 8th grade, it becomes a fear and ultimately a phobia. So he told me that how we can remove this phobia. So then it came into my mind that we can start up with a session to remove, as the theme is that we are talking about the subjects which are basically related to the students. So I requested him to come for a few sessions and please guide us that how this technology based things, they are helping the students to cope up with the mathematics. Thank you and welcome, sir. Nilma sir, please let us know about that how it came to your mind to start up this Counting Well app, and how does it helps the teachers as well as the students to gap up this the phobia of mathematics.
Sure. Thank you, sir, for inviting me again. This is my 4th session with you, and I have met so many principals from so many different schools. It's been a wonderful experience interacting with people from such eclectic backgrounds, from such different sizes of institutions, such different cities. It's been a fantastic experience and a learning experience. From whatever we have learned from them, I have tried to incorporate that into our teaching methodology as well. And, it gives us an opportunity to keep improving our app also. That said, to tell you a little bit more why we started Counting Well. It was really a chance discussion between my co-founder and me about 4 or 5 years back. We were talking and looking at our own children struggling with maths. My son was just getting into middle school, and I could see the change in his attitude and behavior towards the subject. Until 5th grade, he was always very happy. He would be excited to come home and do the homework. From 6th onwards, that excitement started to turn into something of a task. He looked at it as if it was something that he was forced to do. And, we started talking among ourselves as to why this is happening, especially with mathematics, because as parents, we also feel that our children should be very smart with maths. I would say that over time, we have realized that it's not a right thing to do to assume that if you're good at maths, you're good at everything and vice versa. But that's what our attitudes are in general. So we looked at our child and said, why is, he getting anxious about the subject? And we started realizing a few things, that he's getting anxious because now the subject is getting more complex. We as parents are not able to contribute so much because the topics which have started coming up are such that, especially from 7th grade, we parents start saying, ye to mujhe bhi samajh mein nahi aa raha hai. And we start letting the child either do it on his own or send him to tuitions or whichever way, right? So that's what we started observing in my son. And we said there has to be a way to help him and help other children like him, right? So that was the start of the journey. We started by trying to do an analysis to understand what was causing this kind of anxiety to happen. And we created an assessment tool and we said, let's run it with a few students and see what happens. And we did some pilots almost 4 years back with about 1,500 students in class 6 to 8. and we found that a lot of gaps came. And this is very interesting because there are so many English people here. So I will say this, that a lot of gaps came because of English language skills of children and not because of math skills. Right. In fact, last year we released something called State of Maths report, which analyzed about 75,000 students who have used our app. And the first page of the report says the biggest problem with maths is not maths, but English. And right. And we found out that because what we realized is that when things like word problems come, the comprehension abilities of the children are lacking. They don't come from a background where English is our first language, is our mother language, right? And then comes other things like, to be able to translate that English language sentences into mathematical context and so on. So we realize that all of this needs to be supported. And at times, given the size of the classrooms in India, especially, teachers are not able to give individual attention to every child. While they think that they can, it's just practically and humanly not possible. Right. So then we said, how can we help teachers and make this a tool where it becomes a part of the school, part of the classroom, but at the same time, it bolsters the child's abilities. Right. So that's what we try to build. When we did these assessments, we went to schools and we said, let's do these assessments and let's see, and we will give the reports to the school principals. And we went to 4 schools in Delhi. In fact, some very large schools, like we went to Kulachi Hansraj, we went to SD Public School, and we gave them these reports. And they said, it's fine. Your reports say that the children are lacking comprehension abilities, or the children are lacking modeling abilities to model math solutions. So what about it now? Right? This thing we know. How are you going to help us solve it? So that was the genesis of Counting Well. We said that we cannot simply give this report. We also have to help the schools, teachers, and children, of course, solve this problem. So that's how we started Counting Well. And we said that we have to create an app which makes learning easy for the child, which becomes integrated with the classroom so that it becomes a part of the school as well. It becomes a tool for the teacher. At the same time, it becomes a friend for the child.
Amazing, sir. A very wonderful and different initiative. I've been seeing people going up with the different robotics and many other things, but you went into the subject as well as the classes which were badly needed. Help was needed over there.
Sir, for robotics, you need maths. For computing, you need maths. That's the start, right? Without that, if that fundamental is not there, it's just very superficial.
Obviously, sir. Thank you so much and welcome, sir. We'll talk about it further in the session, sir. We'll come up to the next round. I won't call it as a question round. I'll call it as a suggestion round. I'll come up to Aradhana ma'am at first. Aradhana ma'am, we want to know your views on the saying that mathematics, as we are discussing, has become a burden or had been also a burden in the middle school, especially in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade. What are the reasons behind it, according to you?
Thank you, Mr. Chandhok. Very, very true. The statement, I think all educators will agree that it is a big, it's a roadblock kind of a thing in middle school, many reasons for it. And the main thing is, I think that, what happens is that mathematics has a very weak foundation in the primary school. So when the children come to the middle school, they are overwhelmed with the sudden jump in syllabus. Mathematics is a very cumulative subject. You cannot, do it chapter wise. It is very graded. So if your foundation in mathematics is weak, there is no way that you will become good at math suddenly. So that is the main roadblock in this thing. Secondly, we treat maths as a subject. Actually, maths is not a subject. Maths is about first developing mental agility. So once you have the mental agility, the subject comes very easy to you. Like languages, language has to have a kind of your aesthetic ability. With that, languages come easy to you. Similarly, how to develop the agility of mind is not by the methods that we use in our primary sections. Right from senior KG, we start teaching them tables when the child doesn't know what table is. The child does not know any concept of numbers being multiplied. So the child is learning by row 2 ones are 2, 2, 2, 2. And it's schools take pride that in our school, we teach tables till 10, 15. in upper KG, in class 1. So this kind of a thing, when we do with the children, any human being will never learn anything unless it is of some use to you. So first, maths has to be treated as something that is an everyday life affair. So they have to be made aware that there is no life without mathematics. So, in each and every aspect of their life, they should just be made aware that there is mathematics around them, and this is why they should learn mathematics. Then this phobia of maths comes from, I think, the whole society as such. Right from day one, the parents, the kind of statements they make, that maths to practice bahut karna padta hai. Unless you practice, you will not know maths, and maths mein fail ho jaoge. So this builds up walls in the child's mind about the subject as such. He grows up with those phobias. And like it was very rightly said, language actually is the main problem. Children are not able to understand the question. How will they answer? So with this, we have to change our assessment methods. If we get the language out of our assessment methods, and maths is not about English. So if we change the assessment methods and assess the child according to his mental agility, the child will gain confidence. What happens is the child lands up thinking, I'm no good in maths. Actually, he's not good at English. But he just grows up with the fact that I cannot do maths, and his confidence wavers right from the beginning. So by the time he reaches middle school, he does not understand the concept. He does not know why he needs maths. And that phobia around that maths nahi karega, engineer kaise banega. We are training our children to, go to IIT right from class 1. So maths is the integral, part of that process. So we are putting it in the child's mind that maths is the most important thing for you. As a result, the students are actually neglecting other subjects. And because maths is a phobia, they cannot do it. The methods of teaching are very, very uninteresting. Gradually, we are with this hybrid learning, blended learning. Thankfully, I thank these 2 years that we have, progressed so much in our technology. Now, also, the kind of stress points that we have, we are encouraging children to do what a computer can do today. We have not progressed. Now, the kind of skills that these children will need is what computers will not be able to do. But we are teaching them replicating skills of a computer. They cannot be better than a computer. So they always fall short. Now, assessment methods, where are we marking them wrong? Answer nahi theek aaya, wrong. Why? He can actually use a calculator. When the computer can do it in 2 seconds, why must you, spend 5 minutes on the problem? Now, where is it? Then why need maths? No, you need maths, in everyday life, in higher education, everything. So what you have to train your children is skills what the computer can't do. Thinking skills, logical skills, derivative skills, computing skills. So these are the things, and actually we should revamp this whole math syllabus as such, according to a new technology and this kind of blended learning. And with this blended learning, get in a lot of technology and use it as an aid rather than compete with it. Now we are actually competing with technology. We cannot win. So, these kind of things also, there are 2 levels of maths. Everybody is not going to take up higher maths and, become all this. So there should be 2 levels of maths. The main thing in children is to build up their confidence in themselves. Everybody does not have a head for maths, does not have a flair for maths. And it's okay. The kind of maths we'll need in our lives is not so great that we have to, go into such high levels. The syllabus of maths is so high for everybody that children who cannot do maths don't land up being well in anything. So they are, termed as duffers. They're not duffers. They have the intelligence, but give them a level they can achieve. So probably if you have 2 levels of maths, in one, the kind of maths you'll need in day-to-day life. The second, the kind of maths you'll need for higher studies. And probably if a child discovers his talent later, could switch. But by and large, the children at about 5th, 6th level, you can make out. Children either have a head for maths or don't.
So, ma'am, basically we can say that the phobia is being created by the outsiders. It may be the school teachers, or system, we can say,
System based.
the parents and the teachers.
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, I had been an accountancy teacher. I had been telling that maths and accounts are the easiest subject. Are the easiest subject. You should know how to play with it. If
Yes,
you
you
know
had a
how to
flair
play,
for it.
for every question you have to learn another answer. But mathematics is not like this. There are certain fundas. If they are clear, thousands of questions they can be done on the same funda, but the flexibility you need to know. So this is also important because the society is putting pressure on the child that it is very difficult thing, and you'll not be able to do if you're not practicing. Nahi ho payega. It's not your cup of tea. So see, you're demotivating the child. So
Yeah.
that now in EP also everything says that you should motivate the children, that you can do it, you're doing it very well. So the phobia also has to be removed. Only the thing has to be told to the kids, but it's a very, very easy thing, but you have to practice it regularly. If you'll practice it more, the more you will get sharpened and you'll get more marks. That has to be done basically. Thank you, Radha ma'am. Next, we'll come up to Shikha ma'am. Shikha ma'am, we want to know your views on the same, because we believe that maths is a different subject. But again, the children, we see that, ma'am, if a hawker is coming, and we are asking, he's an illiterate person, we're asking him that vendor that give me this 1 kg, give me this 250 grams, give me this half kg, and he'll in a minute, within seconds, he'll calculate how much money has to be paid. If you remember, the greengrocer or anyone you say. But when you talk about a child, he will start using the formulas. He learns the formulas. He's learning the formula, but he's not understanding the formula. But basically the problem rises in. So we say that mathematics is not only about numbers, it is all about understanding. What are your views on this, ma'am?
Mr. Chandok, probably one of the finest questions that can be asked about the concept of understand mathematics and how to take it forward. We as educationists should ponder over it. You are right. Mathematics is not just about numbers. In our language of a mathematician, let me put it like this: numbers is a subset of mathematics, but not everything. Mathematics starts before numbers. We have pre-number concepts for the very junior children: far, near, more, less, one more, two more, one less, two less. These are concepts. And these are known as numeracy skill. They are not straight. We don't come to straight mathematics as a subject. It is the skill that needs to be developed. That's where blended teaching comes into existence. Everything you cannot show them on a 2-dimension. And they need to understand the holistic approach of what we are trying to tell them. So when you're trying to tell them the area of or the perimeter of a sphere, where is that whole thing coming from? The child can't see, but today's hybrid teaching gives us that scope so that the 3-dimension is understood by the children. In algebra, think about it, the child says a square plus 2ab plus b square is a plus b whole square, right? He has mugged it up. Ask him, what is it? What is it that you have? What is it this? I don't think ever any teacher tries to do that. They fold a paper, one bigger size and one smaller side, and you get 2 squares, one big square, one small square, and 2 rectangles. And if you do that, the child knows exactly what you mean by a plus b whole square, which is equal to 1 big square, a square, 1 small square, b square, and a plus b, and a into b, and another a into b, that is 2ab. So this is about getting the concept clear. So beginning from pre-number first, getting the pre-numbers clear, how you proceed and how the number increases, how it comes downwards, what happens when it is 2, what happens when it's lesser. All these pre-number concepts we have in pre-primary, right? Then comes the numbers. And then by the time the child comes to the middle school, you introduce algebra, where you have variables. Right, so this is where the child starts having problem. And if you ask the middle school children, the maximum problem is with geometry or algebra. because these are not concrete. And teaching learning is all about the journey from concrete to abstract. If you take up abstract things first, the child will never understand. So when we are taking up mathematics, teaching mathematics, it is very essential to make sure that the numeracy skill, when we are teaching tables, we are trying to enhance the ability, yes, but never have the children been told, because I feel learning of tables and dodging should come together. When we talk about problems, addition problems and subtraction problems should always come together. Because if you give when you're teaching addition, you give a problem of addition, the child does not read anything. He sees a number 12 and he sees another number 15, he puts them together and he gets the answer. Ask him why he did it, he'll say addition hi to hai. But what is written in that statement, the child never tries to understand. Right? So concepts have to be mixed where the mind has to work. 21st century skills talk about critical thinking, problem solving, and development of the calculation skills. That has to be worked upon, not just teaching something to the children in the name of teaching. You know, we say we are teaching, but actually in the education world, the word teaching does not exist. There is nothing called teaching. If your learning is not happening in your classroom, then you may do whatever. Nothing really works. So it is about ensuring that the learning is happening in your classroom.
Amazing, ma'am.
Yeah, so, and further, another thing that I want to see is what Mrs. Aradhana has already said. It's about comprehension, and during the assessments, making sure that you deduct marks for the right reason. The deduction of marks should be for the right reason. See, if a question is there, whatever, and the ultimate question is, how many men can complete it in 5 days or something like that? And if the child is getting the answer 2.35, this thing has, this concept has to be there in the child's mind that when they are asking you about a man, it cannot be 3.35. So deduction of marks, assessments have to be done in a way where you first understand whether the child has got it clear about what. We talk about units, fitna zaruri hai. You have to write units, 5 apples, 4 bananas, that is important. In problem sums, but why is it important? This is the reason it is important.
So ma'am, we can also say that the responsibility of the teachers becomes more.
Yes.
The teacher should teach all the things with practical approach, showing them certain things. If you're talking about a circle, you can take a ball. If you're talking about anything, you know, about square or rectangle, you can take any device. You can take a pencil box and talk about this. When it becomes volume, so he should tell that this way. How it is happening, this happens, is being told, but how this happens, this is not being guided to the kids. That is why they have problems.
Mr. Chandhok, I'm checking. I'm just interrupting in between. They say how. The teachers say how. What the teachers don't say is why.
Why?
Why is not answered.
Yes.
That is the major problem, that the child doesn't know what will happen if I get 5 rupee and another 7 rupee, what will happen. If you make it in the form of a problem, the child doesn't know what will happen. Will he gain? Does he know the word gain? Jada aega mere paas. They don't know that.
Yeah.
So that why is very, very important.
Obviously, ma'am. Absolutely right, ma'am. Thank you so much for your views, ma'am. We'll come up to Agarwal sir. Agarwal sir, your views on the same saying that mathematics is not only numbers, but it's about understanding.
Yeah, actually, the whole game is this. Because numbers, calculations, they do change and they can be done with the help of any apparatus. There are thousands of apparatus today. But the only thing is understanding. And here I will take help of Bloom's taxonomy. Because the next step is understanding only. And the answer is not there in the text. Like when we teach the subject of English, there are certain questions which are not there in the text. At lower grades, as a principal, I observed that teachers once, like she was doing, let the answer of this question lies in para 2, line number 3 to line number 5. Absolutely wrong. The reason is we are dealing with the lowest part of the learning pyramid, that is remembering. And number is just remembering. And number is not going, the exact number is not going to repeat the next time. Basically, what is going to happen that they should develop an understanding why this number is there and why this calculation is there. Like I remember NCF 2005 also. The very first thing that they say is connecting knowledge outside the life classroom, the life outside the classroom. And that should happen. This is why numbers, when you become a commerce student tomorrow or you become a science student, numbers are going to change. The scenario is completely going to change. The only thing is how it is going to get used. So it's all about reading between the lines. It's not like going back into the text and finding the answer. Sir, this is the answer. Then we have not developed any understanding. And then the next step that comes is I'm going one step further, Mr. Chandhok, applying. Now the same mathematics calculation formula, instead of teaching them formula, let's teach them your formula bana kaise, how this formula was made. When the apple fell on the chest of Newton, why this thought came to his mind that there is gravity, how it all happened. So we have to go into that depth that required, that, I call it, not satiating the hunger, not quenching the thirst, but making them thirsty. Pyas jagao pariyojana. Let them think over, critical thinking and other kind of 21st century skills ma'am was also talking about. The gist is that initially when it came, why it's all being done, why we are teaching them, why there are tables and why there are calculations and why there are divisions and the 4 fundamentals: addition, subtraction and multiplication, division. Give them any number, they will be able to do once it is clear why it has to be done and how they are going to use that in their life. Here I would like to give an example that there is a theorem in geometry, basic proportionality theorem, BPT, Thales theorem, which is also known as. In class 10th it is taught, at present also in CBSE, NCERT books it's there. And it gives an amazing idea about life. Now, how a mathematics teacher will be teaching life, apart from all kind of uses there in engineering and apart from all kind of uses there in commerce aspects and all the different kind of calculations, how it relates to life, then let me tell you, honorable learned people sitting over here, that if we there is a triangle in that theorem. I have been a student of mathematics also at some point of time till class 12, did PCM. And then as initially I shared that I was giving certain students tuitions also initially in my career. So I came across these terms, most of the students, they take tuitions in mathematics only when it is coming. So some idea I have. What is basic proportionality theorem? It tells that when we start a point from one fine line of one side of a triangle and let us go towards the second line, following the third line, going parallel to the third line, then we are going to cut the two sides in equal proportion. That's the basic idea. I repeat, when we start from one side, a point, a line, towards the second one, and keeping us parallel, keeping that line parallel being drawn to the third line, then those two lines, they are going to get cut into equal proportion. Now I call them, the first line is the lifeline, line of our lives, and the second line, I call it the line of success, and the third is the success parameters. if we are drawing the line, making the journey towards the line of success, keeping at that journey parallel to the parameters of
For you,
success
sir.
of. Am I not audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir, audible.
So then we are going to get success in equal proportion. Now, how I got this idea? Just because numbers apart, you give them any question, any calculation to find out the ratio, the numbers are there, they will be different, but the idea was life. So understanding the child is going to develop, and understanding is when, applying is when the child himself forms the question rather than giving the solutions. Like, the age of my father is 5 times at present, and it will be double after 5 years. It will remain only double after 5 years. Find my age. Now, if the child can form such questions, it means there is a complete understanding which has taken place in the mind of that particular child.
So again, we can say, sir, basically it is the role of the teacher. If the things are being clear to the teacher, one of the same thing you're taking up the examples, that if the teacher is making the child understand why this thing is happening and how this formula has been created, it has been created to make the things more easy. Now, basically, the thing is that children, they are rotting the formula. This is a plus b square. It becomes a square plus b square plus 2ab. So this thing has to be kept in mind amongst the maths teacher. They have to teach how it is happening. And if they are taking the things practically approach with the examples, that will become more interesting for them, for sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to Pratima ma'am now. Sharma sir is also there. Sir had been,
Yeah, can I speak, sir? Because I'm
Sure,
in a
sir.
function, I got stuck. So
Right.
I'm really sorry because I got stuck up in a program.
Yes, sir.
So mathematics actually is an easy subject. Only we made it difficult. Right from bringing, we gave the fear factor to the children that mathematics is tough. But I'm very happy now. There are many such kind of organizations who are making it easier and doing great work. And I must salute you for conducting this particular webinar, for giving a light to the children that no, mathematics can be easy. Like Jodo Gyan is one of the organization I know, and many more such organization. Various apps are coming that can make things very easy.
Yes,
And
sir.
I'm quite sure there would have been lot many things would have been discussed. I will wait for the next webinar. Obviously,
Sir, and we'll also like to introduce to that sir is the director of Kundan Vidya Mandir, Ludhiana, but he had been working many years in the Middle East. Sir, please tell us about yourself, sir.
Yeah, I'm AP Sharma. This is my 24th year going on as principal, come director of KBM School Ludhiana, and the rest of the only thing which I feel proud of that I'm a president awardee, and still I'm a teacher and a student, and that keeps me keep learning something new and something participating. And uh, Chandok sir had been very kind to call me at many times and to participate and give a proper views about various things. Thank
Sir,
you so
and
much.
we have a maths expert also. Nirmal Shah sir is over there. And we are talking about the problems faced by mathematics learning during the middle school, sir. Chali, sir, all the best to you, sir. And you can put your camera off if you can just listen to us, or you can give some guidance.
My camera will be on.
Sir,
Yes,
AP Sharma Sahab, we have been privileged to have you in our city. I am from Jaipur.
Oh, great. Yes. I was principal in MPS.
Maheshwari Public School, Jawahar Nagar.
Yes, Jawahar Nagar for 3 years. Thank you so much, sir. Nice
I'm
meeting
from
you after
Mahavir
such a long.
School. Right.
Great, sir. Great. We'll come up to Pratima ma'am. Thank you, sir. Pratima ma'am, we'll come up to you. According to you, how does technology helps in making mathematics more easy?
Okay, I'll be very brief because I don't think so we have too much of time. But if you allow me 2 minutes, I have written down the keywords from every speaker, and I'll just like to elaborate on that before I go to my topic.
Sure,
Now,
ma'am.
when Mr. Agarwal spoke about Bloom's taxonomy, I think it's not only about mathematics. Every subject, Bloom's taxonomy is applied to every subject per se. And so, as you said, from understanding right till up to creative, so you can actually visualize every step of mathematics on that. So that was wonderful. When we talk about, Aradhana ma'am spoke about fundamental, fundas. Chandok sir, the key word that you used were fundas. And the same word was used by Shikha ma'am saying that the concepts. So these three things all the panelists spoke about is how at the preschool level mathematics has to be, how it needs to be introduced, because that is the base, the fundamental base of the or the foundation of the child. And that's where we do not take care. That's the main issue, where at the middle school, when the child is burdened with a lot of syllabus and things, his concepts are not clear, and that is where he is bogged down with all the mathematical problems, and he really drowns into it. So pre-primary, I feel, is so very important for any school, and that is where we actually do not really work on them. The teachers in the pre-primary have to be really trained to teach the mathematics in the right way. So bringing in concepts, bringing in material, the manipulatives, everything should be there for them to make the child understand the concept. If the concept is strong, if the fundamentals are strong, if the fundas are strong, then I'm sure the child in the middle school or the senior school will sail through. Third thing was problems. When we spoke about language skills and problems, I feel you cannot avoid language skills in a problem, whether it is Hindi or Telugu or English. What I personally feel is that the problem should be made by the teachers based on what the child understands, rather than just taking the problems from somewhere and putting it across to the child. The day-to-day things that he sees, maybe in the house or in the market, that is how the problems should be created specifically for the children, so that they are able to understand and they are able to solve these problems easily. And one more thing that I wanted to actually, agility of mind. I think when we talk about mental mathematics, teachers don't understand the importance of mental mathematics, and many a times they don't give the child that kind of exposure. So agility of mind will come when you are giving them mental problems, mental immediate, in a minute they have to respond with the answers, and that excitement builds up. So those are the points that I've written down from everybody's talk. And when you come to my, what you wanted to ask me, I feel Khan Academy is the thing that we talk about, we can say, which is like talking about technology and math. Khan Academy is at the top, right? They have come up with the videos, the talking points, the mathematical skills, which the child is able to understand. Because what I know of is that visual impact in mathematics is also very important. In fact, it's a research fact that visual impact and also integration with music, these two things actually really build up the mathematical skills and the interest of the child. I would like to again actually point out that whatever we may say, the subject has to be made interesting by the teacher, so that the child understands what he is learning and he feels that passion towards it. See, whether it is language, whether it is science, whether it is mathematics, that interest has to be created. So if my children are visual, I need to create that interest in the child through visual impact. If my children are good listeners, so music comes into the picture. So integration of subject is very important, and we are talking about integration of subjects as of today. So mathematics also definitely, through technology, that integration has come in. And if you see the number of videos that have come in, uh, teachers are showing those videos. Teachers are actually now using these technology and the videos and all that to show. I think it has created interest in the students. Technology
Right.
also helps in individual learning. You
Yes,
know,
ma'am.
that is where Khan Academy became famous, because they dealt with the individual issues of the children and they started working on that. I
Right,
would
ma'am.
also say, as ma'am said, Shika ma'am had told about simulation. You know, that technology brings in the simulation. A child needs to see the triangle from all three sides. Only then the child understand that yes, there are three triangles, right? Or the rhombus or whatever it is. So when the simulation happens, the understanding is much, much better. The graphs, the desmos, you know, everything has become so much easier for the child to understand. Then lastly, I would say technology actually connects the math to the real world. I may not be able to take the child to the shop. I may not be able to take the child to the bank. I may not be able to take the child to anywhere where money transactions happen. But when we are using technology, I can take the child everywhere and connect the child with whatever is being taught in the class. So that way, I feel
Thank
technology
you.
is very
Thank you.
helpful.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll come up to Nirmal Shah, sir. Nirmal sir, first of all, we like to know your views on the saying everybody has spoken about. As an expert, what are your views on that? As we know, that ma'am was also saying so many things have come into the market. How is your counting well compared to them or more better than them? How it is?
Yeah, 1 minute, Mr. Shah. I would say that I don't know how is it a magic that you're giving that the child who does not understand the basic of math till grade 5, is that the math well that you're talking about? Is it something like magic that it makes the child understand the concepts?
Yes, ma'am, because he is an expert, so he'll let us know about all these things.
Yeah,
Sir,
I
you are
think
on
that
mute,
would be
sir. Sir,
good.
you are on mute.
It's definitely as magical or as unmagical as any other product that you compare it with, right? So anyway, that said, I will first start with what Aradhana ma'am said. I think she made an important point that we are competing with technology and we cannot win, but also technology cannot win on its own. So when we talk about learning, we say blended learning, and that is the reason we say blended learning, because without the classroom and without that teacher's presence, without the guru's presence, so to speak, right, which is what we use in India, and that's a very important word, because guru is not merely somebody who would write something on a blackboard and walk away. That is what you can do in a video, and you can watch it on YouTube and you can say that I have learned, but you really don't learn. So that's the difference. And blended learning actually adds to what the guru is doing. It adds to the arsenal of the guru. The guru carries a chalk piece to the classroom. The guru carries lesson plans to the classroom. The guru can carry technology to the classroom with her or with him. That is how it should be, and that is how the blending should happen, right? So one cannot be without the other. It cannot be that there is a competition at all, right? Another thing very interesting, what you said, Chandok sir, is that you said that NEP says that you have to motivate children, right? Now, why does NEP have to come and say that you have to motivate children? Isn't it our jobs as parents, educationists, teachers, and everybody that we have to motivate children anyway, right? Now, this is where something like counting well and technology itself can add a lot of value to child, because what happens is that in the classroom there are 30-40 children. You find a child, especially the average and below average children, they are very hesitant to ask doubts. They are very hesitant to say that I have not understood what you said, because they feel that they might be ridiculed, somebody might mock them, or teacher itself might say that तुमको तो कुछ नहीं आता, तुमको समझ में भी नहीं आएगा, बैठ जाओ, right? So, and that happens, right? Not every teacher, but then it does happen in a country as large as ours. There are people like that. So how do we overcome that, right? Now, the way to overcome that is to create that safe environment for the child, where the child can go and learn and not feel that somebody is going to watch over me and mock me. At the same time, feel that, am I going to get some additional motivation? So that is what happens when you do this kind of personalized learning that we are delivering. So one is that we identify what is the current learning level of the child, what is the skill level of the child. Is the child able to solve complex word problems? Is the child able to do modeling of solutions? Is the child able to do mere calculations or not even that? So let us start teaching the child at that level and let the child feel that, yes, I have learned this before going to the next level. So when that happens, one, the child is feeling that, yes, I'm achieving something. So it gives me that motivation to go to the next level. At the same time, there is nobody watching. So if I make a mistake, I don't feel that I'm going to be ridiculed, right? The app can reinforce whatever mistake you have made. It can correct it. It can reinforce that learning and help you go on. At the same time, on the teacher side, it can become that powerful reporting tool as well, where the teacher can see that this is where the child is repeatedly making mistakes. These are the areas where I need to intervene and help the child. The child does not know, and the child is hesitant in asking the teacher or telling the teacher about it, but yet teacher is now beginning to understand the child better. And that can become a very good point of intervention for the child, right? So that's important. The other thing I think very important, which everybody has brought up, is that, learning or maths especially has to build up from the lower classes. Now, why did we start from middle school? It's because it becomes complex from middle school, but it does not mean that the foundation also starts from middle school, right? The foundation starts earlier. So what we do is that when we do an assessment of the child, we do formative assessments. It tells us where the child is and what the learning gaps are for today, right? So it's not merely a video you are playing and you're watching and you're saying, I learned it or I did not learn. We are doing an assessment. We are creating a personalized learning path for the child. But also at the same time, what we are doing is we are assessing if the child does not know something because they did not learn something in the previous years. So if I don't know a concept of sixth grade because I did not know a fifth grade concept, then we would do that intervention for the child, make sure that the child is brought back to par. So that way, what will happen is that when the teacher is not able to give this depth of attention in the classroom because of sheer number of children, and in 40 minutes or 1 hour period, how much attention will you give? We are able to bring that intervention, right? And then if that foundation is weak, then we are able to fill that gap and bring the child on par for that class. So that next day, at least the child is able to continue at the same level as everybody else, or, at least some level, the gaps are filled. So that's how that whole filling of the gap happens. One last point that I would like to add is something very interesting what Agarwal sir brought up. He said, Pyas Jagao Pariyojana. And that was a very, very interesting term, right? Because we have to make the children interested. And how do they become interested? Jab unme wo pyas jagti hai. So there are two ways that we do it. And I'm sure that there are different ways of doing it, right? Many more ways of doing it. For example, one of the things we have done is that we have created additional courses like data science or mathematical foundations of data science and foundations of financial literacy. Now, this is a middle school level course. That means that the content is designed for middle school children. It is not designed for very older senior children, right? So the content is not very complex, but at the same time, it relates mathematics to what you would do in real life or what you would do in your career. If I have to do data science, what kind of maths or how will maths help me, or why do I need to know maths? Now we relate data handling, which you learned in 6th, 7th, and 8th, to data science. Okay, we give an example where we say that example is related to cricket. Okay, we say that the probability of raining today is 80%. Now, if the humidity increases, what happens to the probability of raining and what will happen to the result of the match? Now, we start getting the child to think about how the concept of probability is relating to data science, and it is relating to forecasting the match results, right? This is what we see on TV when we watch a cricket match. Children love cricket. Now we start relating these kind of concepts, the children start getting interested. So that's how we build that level of interest. When we say financial literacy, we talk about how you earn money with your own money. How do you do that? Because you put it in a fixed deposit, you might earn interest, or you invest in something and you might earn profits. Children learn about profit and loss. They learn the calculation of simple interest, compound interest, but they don't know how it helps them in real life. When we connect it this way, then that whole interest grows, right? वो प्यास जगती है कि
So, sir,
ये maths
so we can say that the same thing I said, if the teacher teaches with examples, or you are putting up with the examples. If it is a match and humidity is there and this is the probability of the raining, So that is a set example. When you take an example and you teach the child, it becomes more interesting and understandable to the child. That is more important.
Exactly.
That is
So ultimately, there's no magic, right? It's just about how you create that whole atmosphere for the child, whether it is, that non-threatening or, non-intimidating atmosphere, or these kind of examples and scenarios that you help them with. And that is how you build up that interest. And that is how you help them keep getting interested in the subject.
Pratima ma'am, I think most of things he has answered. If you would like to ask anything else. And yes, ma'am. Pratima ma'am, you want to ask?
Actually, what I wanted to ask was, it's an app, right?
Correct.
So the child has to download that app, and then what happens?
So once the child downloads the app, the child would say that, let's say I'm in class 6 or class 7, whatever, right? And then the content for class 6 and 7 starts showing up. So what we do is we start with an assessment for the child. So we do a formative assessment. Either they can pick a chapter and say that I want to start learning this chapter. Then we do an assessment on that to determine what is the learning level of the child with respect to that chapter, right? So now we would determine, one is, what are the skill levels? Do they have the comprehension skills to be able to solve problems in that chapter? Do they have the modeling skills? Do they have the calculation skills? Or are they even, the basic memory of formula? So once the assessment is complete, then we know what is that learning level of the child, right? So then we create a customized learning plan. What we create something called a 20-minute workout. The other thing that we also are very conscious about is that the child should not be spending too much time on the devices.
Who will be guiding the child?
So this is all self-learning. Now that is the other aspect of it, that we want to create the self-learners, right? So within the app, the structured workout or the structured learning plan is created. The child then sees that this is what I would learn today for 20 minutes. There will be 3 or 4 learning objectives that I will achieve today, right? Then we do another assessment to see whether they have achieved that, or do we need to go back? Do we need to reinforce something, or can we move forward? So then it becomes a learning cycle for them. The way it integrates in the classroom is that we also have a homework module for schools, where the schools can do the same thing and say that take this as a homework, do the assessment, and based on that assessment, then you can either do the learning, or as a teacher, I will get to know what are your learning gaps. So when I do my lesson planning for the next day, I know how do I need to bucket the students and plan the teaching for that for the next session. I hope that answers your question, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sure.
And that's great, sir. And I hope you told us, or me also, that this is right now free of cost for this session at least.
Yes, for 22, 23, whichever school is signing up, we are making it free for life. So when I say free, in that year, whoever is signing, it's free for life. Obviously, it's a marketing thing for us, but also we realize and recognize that this year or the last 2 years have been very tough on schools as well as students and parents, right? So we want to give that benefit that at least whoever is starting to use our app now, the schools have to get that benefit, and it can get passed on to children as well, because children.
What I found good about your product is that 20 minutes learning only you are giving, because that is the crucial time when the children study. In a 35 or 40 minutes, that first 20 minutes are the best part. And
after that, the attention starts waning. Correct.
Yeah. So that is the best, because parents also are saying that we don't want our children to use much of the gadgets as of now, because it has become offline. So after 20 minutes, say that you can go. That's good, sir. All the best to you, sir. We'll come up to the next round because we are in shortage of time. I request all the participants to please only answer in a minute, 1 minute, 60 seconds. We'll come up to Aradhana ma'am. Aradhana ma'am, suggest few ways in which a teacher can make maths more interesting.
Thank you, Mr. Chandhok. First of all, I must congratulate Mr. Shah, because this is again one of the ways that you can make maths very, very interesting. I think on my list, the gamification is the only way, because children enjoy playing games. Now, if we make studies like games, obviously they are encouraged to do this. And what is the whole concept of gaming? That the child, when he plays a game, he gets that feeling of achievement. First of all, challenge. Why do all of us solve puzzles? I mean, nobody's giving us marks, nobody's giving us any material benefits. But every day, I look forward to that Wordle puzzle every day. I'm like an addict. because it gives me a sense of achievement. Oh, I can do it. So similarly with children, like a small child will sim apne aap. The child, right from, I think, first year one, wants to do things by himself. So taking advantage of this particular trait in children, gamification is the only answer. And like he's come up with this app, 20-minute, for, I don't think it will be possible in the class because there's too much to do, but very good for a homework session. And once they get, I'm also totally with him that, ultimately they have to be self-learners. It's very difficult now to get these children to be self-learners so fast. So this is one of the ways we direct them in that direction. Also making, making maths connect to real life. I'll just take a few seconds. Like we had this pre-primary section that we were building up in our building. So we just gave this project to 9th and 10th. This is a design, something for them, and how we gave them the area. They came up with such wonderful work in all maths, where the blocks will be placed, how much tiling, how much is going to be the distance when they stand for prayers. All that they brought in a project form. So I think that taught them maths much more than what they would have learned in school. So, but only thing where we have to concentrate is that after teaching them through these very, very interesting, hybrid methods and blended learning, if we go back to assessment and pen and paper test, कि वो paper में बताओ अभी क्या आएगा, and they're looking for marks. This thing negates this whole effort. So some kind of proportion of assessment has to be in the practical methods and project levels. That is the only way we'll encourage teachers also to. Ultimately, teachers also say, maths का syllabus नहीं खत्म हो रहा, आप हमको ये बता रहे हो. So rather than syllabus is concepts. So if they learn it like this, assess them there. So we gave them marks for the project. So they were encouraged to, do this. So shortage of time, I'd like somebody else to take up now.
Absolutely right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Practical approach has to be taken. Blended learning has to, because children, they don't ask inside the class. They feel that if I'll ask, and the others will make fun of him. And this is the reason most of them, they don't speak and don't ask the teacher. Okay, ma'am, it's not understandable to me. Please repeat it again.
And Mr. Chandhok, I must tell you, with this method, the children we thought were the weak children in maths. They are the one practical suggestions. They came up very well. And we were so encouraged with this that now we do a lot of project learning in maths.
Obviously, ma'am, and when the child is not able to ask inside the class with the teacher about the topic, then he can come back anytime during the evening, afternoon, whatever time he feels good, then now I can study properly. He can go up to these tools like app and all, and they can, they can reform and they can learn whatever gaps they have taken. And next day, again, they will stand up with all the students together. So when we are running up for the result of the school, and we see that 3 to 4 toppers are inside the class, we want to have all, because all the students have the same brain. They should all be the toppers, because this learning gap is happening with other subjects, maybe English or mathematics. This gap has to be, removed. And otherwise, after doing this, all the students will be the topper inside the class. So learning gap, these technologies, these are bridging up the learning gaps and making all the students to become topper in the class. Every child wants to learn and move forward, but because he is not able, or she is not able to understand that gaps, creates a phobia in them. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Shikha ma'am now. Shikha ma'am, it is often seen that children try to learn mathematics instead of understanding it. What are your suggestions to the teachers that how should they teach the children that it becomes interesting for them?
Mr. Chandhok, let me go by a definition which says mathematics is neither science nor art. All right, it is neither science nor art, but it involves a lot of creativity. And creativity cannot be taught. Creativity has to be learned, self-learning, self-motivation. Yes, a little bit of push from the back. Teachers as facilitators. Apps like Counting Well or Khan Academy, like Sana ma'am mentioned. These are the supports for learning which the child needs. The child does not need the teacher to tell him or her what to do and what not to do, or how to do or what not to do. It is self-motivated, learning is a self-motivated process. The teacher has to facilitate that. And what Aradhana ma'am says is very correct. Preparing projects, or rather more than that, initiating project-based learning, because I'm mentioning the difference between projects and project-based learning. Project-based learning is giving them a concept and asking them to develop on those concepts. In the process, what happens? The learning becomes smoother, the concept gets smoother, and the child understands what he or she is supposed to do. Maths is also about mental ability and keeping the mental ability alive all the time. So more than the written work in the class, it is things that will keep the mind active, dodging the things in the mind, and quickly the child has to give the answer. It is like we can compare it with a knife or like axe maybe, which needs to be sharpened all the time. You know, in the child can write many things and yet not learn,
Yes.
especially in mathematics. Let me tell you about the table of 9. Many children, you know, they write 9, 9, 9, 9, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 9, and then 1 and 8, and then 2 and 7. They know, they write it down like that without understanding what they're doing. So writing is not the main thing. It is about projects, project-based learning where the concepts are made clear, and the various activities that initiates the mental calculating ability of the child, enhancing the numeracy skill. And here again, I reiterate, apps like Countwell, and I myself feel I've seen my children using Khan Academy also, extremely effective. Because, you know, the best of things, like even in a session like this we are talking, we cannot be sure how many people are actually listening. You know, so it's like that between the teacher and the children, that if you make them do, they will do. It has been there for ages, learning by doing. So they learn best when they do it themselves. The teachers are the facilitators, not teachers anymore. Not at all the teachers, just the facilitators.
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now we can, but again, we can also say that, ma'am, nobody can replace a teacher. These are the tools which can be, will be supportive to the teachers to make the teaching more effective through them to the students. So that
no, Mr. Chandok, I want to correct you over here. I believe that the word teaching does not exist. Teachers are co-learners with the children.
Of course.
Who will just, take it forward. The learning has to be taken forward by the teachers.
They are guiding them.
The teachers are going to be required to facilitate and make sure that the children move in the right track.
Right. And thank you so much, ma'am, for your views. We'll come up to JK sir. JK sir, what are your suggestions to the teachers for the better learning?
I suggest that let them live with mathematics. And there are certain steps, though I agree that yes, it is the personal individual acumen which will sharpen this skill of becoming creative children. But at the very same time, I claim as a school principal that I can convert each and every child into a creative child. There are certain steps. If we step by step follow them, what ma'am Shikha suggested just now, that yes, and that acumen will start developing in their mind. There are steps, but of course. So to each and every mathematics teacher, even when department meetings they happen, now I am attending them. When mathematics department meeting also happens, and I always tell them that this is one of the very interesting subjects, which when they are into, like Ramanujan Iyengar, I am not comparing all children with him, but he was asked to send 5 formulas and he sent his own 120. And he was failing in all the other subjects apart from English and mathematics. He was passing only, and today we remember him like anything. So interdisciplinary approach, or the coach of a particular expert in everything, jack of all trades and expert in nothing. So if we follow, and as teacher of mathematics, if they start believing it that once the child develops that insight, and that insight must be conceptualized, and the teachers only can do it because they are much into it. The person who is doing thing knows more than what we are talking about as different subject teachers. You know, maybe principals, of course, but we don't know the subject as the teacher who knows who is going into the class. So the teacher, once they start conceptualizing the insights which they are getting while teaching and making it a public knowledge, I am telling each and every child can be converted into an creative child. Because creativity, creativity is just not like making a chart or drawing something or that. Of course, that is again creativity. I don't reject that idea. And doing craft or this work or cutting in designing, how this art developed, the same can be applied to mathematics, because they were much into it. My girl, she's in class 9 and she's much into it. I just say, if you love mathematics also this way or any given thing, you will develop the same kind of even better quality of creativity. Just go deep into it and start doing things step by step. And the moment you move from remembering, understanding, applying, and other steps, and move the top layer of Bloom's taxonomy, that is the creativity only. That's where it lies, and it can be very, very easily accomplished. The only thing is, let's go deep into it, and the teacher who is actually doing the job asks their insights to be shared, conceptualized, how it can be done, and it will be done.
Amazing, sir. Amazing. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to Pratima ma'am. Pratima ma'am, after pandemic, we have seen that children have become, gadget friendly, and they have become smart. So the teachers need to become more smarter with the use of technology. What are your views on this, ma'am?
I think they need to. Definitely, teacher has to keep up with the child of 21st century skills. And that is what, actually I've been taking sessions with the teachers that, you are teaching 21st century students. So you need to understand, and you need to imbibe the skills of 21st century skills. They also need to imbibe them. And it's very, very important that every teacher now thinks about technology as a part of a teaching tool and brings it into the classroom, if not every day, but at least to make the concepts very, very clear, and more of practical approach to learning. That is what is important. But yes, technology is there to stay, and the teacher has to definitely train herself accordingly.
Right, ma'am. Right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Nirmal sir, we'll come up to you now. On the second round, you have listened to all the eminent educationists. What are your views on their saying right now, and what else do you suggest, and whatever is there in your app which I have not discussed about how it is helping the kids, please let us know.
I think what everybody has said, and pretty much everybody has been in agreement, right? That there has to be project-based learning. Technology definitely is very, very integral to teaching learning process now. We cannot avoid it, we cannot escape it, and we should not. That's very, very important. And finally,
can I just add one thing, Mr. Shah, before you continue? What I feel is, first of all, we are talking about a lot of things, but first of all, the teacher has to know the student. I mean, she has to know the ability of every child, whether it is mathematical ability or language skills or whatever. Only when she is able to understand each and every child, she will be able to help the child. So that is the baseline, that the teacher has to know every student in her class. That's very important. Only then she can work out and ways and means to help every child.
That's very, very true. That's so true. Teachers obviously play a very, very important role in the child's life and in the child's learning. And, teacher has to not only know the child very well, but also use that knowledge to motivate and guide the child very well.
Yeah.
Right. So that's definitely extremely important. So going back to what I was saying, that, technology is definitely important, and it has to be a part and parcel of the education system now, right? Whether NEP says it, NEP, we understand NEP or not. I mean, all of us have been trying to decipher NEP and figure out its implementation for the last so many months now. But, the bottom line is very, very clear that technology has to be a part of the whole teaching learning process. One of the other things which was brought up also is that gamification, right? So I think what Aradhana ma'am said, that gamification is important and it helps the child stay motivated. So one thing that we are doing as a company, it's not really in the app as such, but what we do is that in different parts of the year, we host competitions, which what we call as a learning through competition model. Okay, so what we do is that we say, for example, in the next month, we are going to hold a scholarship event where we tell the children to learn all the things which they are supposed to have learned in the previous year. So it becomes a groundwork for them to start the next year. So whatever they would learn, let's say somebody is moving from class 7 to class 8, and they say that I'm now in class 8, then we would give them all the learning of class 7, which is a prerequisite for class 8. And then the whole competition is going to be based on what they have learned. So while they feel that I'm competing and I'm going to win prizes and awards and so on and so forth, what we are doing is intrinsically, we are getting them prepared for the new academic year. And we will give the schools also all these reports and say that this is what your children have done. And these are the learning gaps, or this is what they have achieved. And I will definitely invite all of you to participate and send in your children.
But I hope, sir, I hope this is also free of cost, sir.
Of course, we are giving away prizes.
Okay.
Right. So we are giving cash scholarships to children in small amounts, but it's a motivating thing. There, he's got it, looks like. So, yes. So it's
Mr.
called.
Shah, can I interrupt and ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Please.
Yes,
can I just interrupt and ask you a question, please? In your app, more than a question, I think if it's a suggestion in case you don't have it, more than the prizes, a lot of companies are doing these scholarship things and, few children participate. A lot of children don't participate because they're not confident amongst themselves whether they'll do so, like Olympiad and all that. Correct. What I would suggest is that in your app, because all children are doing it, if you have some kind of a scoreboard, applied in the class itself, so it would give them a lot of motivation to score, against a peer group. Peer learning, I feel, is the greatest, way to motivate them to learn. So, like, when we solve these puzzles, what are we doing every day? I mean, every day we are putting up our Wordle scores on Facebook. Even an adult like me, I want somebody to say, okay, you did it in 3, you did it in 2. So this motivates me more than any prize would, because other people are appreciating that every day you're increasing. Similarly, more so in children, because every day when they're comparing, like whatever is there in your app, when they do it for homework, now scoreboard is created in a class. So the child wants to come up on the scoreboard. So he does more and more so that somewhere he gets a rank. So, these kind of things, if they can be incorporated, it encourages peer learning.
Sure, ma'am. In fact, what we are designing, it's not yet there, but it will come in the next 4 to 5 months. It is under development. Is that we are creating what we call as a cohort-based learning. Yeah. Right? What is a cohort? Is a group of similar people, right, with similar interest or similar situation, so to speak. So here, then we can group children who are at the similar learning level, and within them, if they feel that they are competing and they are leading, then one is that they are trying to move out of that level to the next level. At the same time, they are not competing against those who are at a very high level and they feel that I cannot even reach there. True. So that is what we are building. And we are hoping that that will then motivate these, what we call as average and below average, especially score-wise in maths. Definitely. That for them, it is definitely going to be a platform where they feel that they are achieving something at least within their group and that they are moving forward. So that's how we are building it now.
I think that will really help, because they, when they move from, say, level 1 to level 2, they get that sense of achievement. I've come in the higher group, and they want to move up to level 5 in the highest group, and they can want to compete amongst. I think that's
Aradhana ma'am, we can do also one thing with all the subject teachers, that we should have a small card. It will cost around 50 paisa to 1 rupee. Appreciation card should be there. If the child is in corridor speaking in English, so teacher can give that. If the child is performing started performing or showing, progress in a subject, the child should be given a small card, appreciation card. So it becomes, whoever has got it wants to get it again, and who has not got it, they like to have it. That interest will also be created among the students, that we can do it like this also with the different subjects also.
Yes,
for sure.
definitely.
Nirva sir, you have created a very good thing, and we wish you all the best. And we'll try to connect with you. And although I'll share the contacts of all of you, you should know each other, because thanks to technology that we are connecting with people all around the world, actually, around the globe, not in country only. Thank you so much. And now we are to the last part of 5 to 10 minutes. It's a surprise round where all the participants, when they come over here doing for parting, they have to sing 2 lines. It can be patriotic, it can be religious, it can be, devotional, it can be filmy, it can be in original language. Original language, so many have sung. And we can start up with anyone. Agarwal sir, JK sir, I think you will start. That's the spirit, sir. That's the spirit, sir.
Actually, I had already the diary in my hand. Had you not started it, I would have asked you, requested you
that's
to
great.
give it to me. I just love doing this job.
Sure,
and
sir.
This is for mathematics people only. You were just asking, the previous question was, what would you advise mathematics teachers to do in classes so that our children can be creative even in mathematics also? For them, I say that if you ever come across a child who is not doing good in mathematics, don't lose your hope and just say, अगर किसी परिस्थिति के लिए आपके पास सही शब्द नहीं है, maths teacher, short of words but explanation a lot. अगर किसी परिस्थिति के लिए आपके पास सही शब्द नहीं है, if you don't have right words for a particular situation, तो सिर्फ जैसे आपने शुरू किया था चांडोक साहब, आपने शुरू किया था मुस्कुराहट से सब मुस्कुराते रहो, तो सिर्फ मुस्कुरा दीजिए, क्योंकि शब्द उलझा सकते हैं। तो सिर्फ मुस्कुरा दीजिए, शब्द उलझा सकते हैं, पर मुस्कुराहट हमेशा काम कर जाती है। मुस्कुराहट हमेशा काम कर जाती है।
नाइस सर, नाइस सर। लेकिन सर इसके साथ आप 2 लाइनें भी कुछ गा देंगे सर? यू आर अ वेरी गुड सिंगर, आई कैन फाइंड इट आउट।
आई एम नॉट अ सिंगर
सर, नोबडी इज अ गुड सिंगर सर, बट इट्स एन ऑब्लिगेशन। इफ यू आर कमिंग ओवर हियर, यू हैव टू। आप आते अपनी मर्जी से हैं, लेकिन आप जाते हमारी मर्जी से हैं, तो यू हैव टू डू इट लाइक, एंड डोंट टेल इट बिफोर, because if you'll not be coming, if I'll be telling, but you really enjoy that, and throughout the day, till night, till you sleep, you'll keep on singing. We have that, ma'am. We do not grow above our age is not above 18 always, because we are in the age group of between 3 to 18. We never grow. We are still young to heart, and that child should come out from our, sir, Agarwal sir.
Yes.
You are an inspiration right now.
I remember actually when
any 2 lines.
When I do my Bloom's taxonomy sessions on CBSE portal and other live meetings, also offline workshops. Actually, webinar is more on tongue these days. So I use Hindi film songs to teach them different levels of understanding. Like I take the help of dialogues of the movie Namak Haral.
Sir, we had
okay,
we had a lot of discussion about the topic.
I'm just coming to
sir,
the line.
This
only.
is the me time right now.
Madonna,
this is the me time of all the administrators, sir. Only 2 lines, sir.
Madonna's masterpiece.
Okay.
If you were the Mona Lisa, you would be hanging in the Louvre. Everyone would come to see you. It would be impossible to move if you were the Mona Lisa. Keep moving on, children. Thank you, everybody.
Shikha ma'am, a request to you. You are the pride of our Kanpur, ma'am. Anything in Bangla? A very 2 lines only in Bangla. It's very interesting. Ma'am, you're on mute, ma'am.
You want Bangla?
Yes, ma'am. Any 2 lines in Bangla.
Okay, then let me sing Mahatma Gandhi's favorite song.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে, তবে একলা চলো রে, তবে একলা চলো, একলা চলো, একলা চলো, একলা চলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে, তবে একলা চলো রে।
Amazing, ma'am. Amazing. You have a wonderful voice, ma'am. Like you are so sweet and you are so gentle, and the sweet voice you have. I already told to the principals and the administrators earlier in the sessions also that I am going to the Indian Idol and request them that there should be one season for the administrators only, for the principals and the administrators. And surely, ma'am, you will go into the finale, Shikha, ma'am, for sure. A big compliment, ma'am, because I have to come to you for a cup of tea.
Sure, please, please.
Female
My pleasure,
voices
my
are
pleasure, ma'am.
always very sweet. You know, when
See,
male sings, it's not sweet. Female voices are always sweet to listen to.
It's not like
It's
that.
not
You
like
sang
that.
so well,
It's
sir.
not
So
like
well,
that. Anything
Aradhana, ma'am.
that comes out from the soul is always sweet.
Right. Aradhana, ma'am.
चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं कुछ ऐसे गगन के तले, जहाँ गम भी ना हो आंसू भी ना हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले, एक ऐसे गगन के तले.
Oh,
Amazing, ma'am.
beautiful,
Amazing. Very good.
beautiful.
So
Fantastic.
beautiful singers we have in our industry. I mean, talent is over there, ma'am. Just see Pratima, ma'am, how beautifully she'll sing now.
If you don't mind, can I sing 2 lines of a ghazal?
Sure, ma'am. We won't mind.
We
ma'am.
would love to it. We
We
don't
love to
mind.
hear you.
When we listen singing somebody, we don't have mind, only heart.
Great. तेरे लबों के मुकाबिल गुलाब क्या होगा, तेरे लबों के मुकाबिल तो मुस्कुराए तो जाती बहार आ जाए, दिले बीमार को फिर से करार आ जाए, तेरे लबों के मुकाबिल. Thank you.
Absolutely amazing.
Amazing, ma'am. Amazing.
Ghazals
So,
are always very, very soothing. Very soothing.
yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Shikha, ma'am. Thank you, Radha, ma'am. JK sir,
Why
Pratima, ma'am.
are you being partial, Mr. Chandhok? What about Mr. Nirmal Shah?
Oh, yes.
He has
Sir,
made
if you want to enter our schools,
for
you
the
have to
last
sing.
3 episodes already.
Sir, if you want to enter our schools, you have to do this obligation. Whatever you take it as. This way or that way, whatever you want to take, but we want this obligation.
प्यार से या जबरदस्ती?
Yeah.
Okay, 2 lines only. जिंदगी की यही रीत है, हार के बाद ही जीत है, थोड़े आंसू है थोड़ी हंसी, आज गम है तो कल है खुशी, जिंदगी की यही रीत है, हार के बाद ही जीत है. Thank you.
This was
You
a
get the
good
last award.
surprise,
Don't worry
huh?
about that.
Actually,
Yes, ma'am.
next time you have to tell us all these things beforehand. Otherwise,
now I've
we
revealed
can't
that,
come
ma'am.
to your,
अचानक
Also, it has been revealed. The paper is out.
को नहीं पकड़ना चाहिए.
चलिए ऐसा है कि मैम शिखा मैम I have to stay in Kanpur तो on although you haven't asked I'll sing a song also.
yeah,
I'll be having the same punishment now. नाम गुम जाएगा चेहरा ये बदल जाएगा मेरी आवाज ही पहचान है गर याद रहे हो नाम गुम जाएगा चेहरा ये बदल जाएगा मेरी आवाज ही पहचान है घर याद रहे. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
आपका शो
Thank
ही
you so much.
पहचान है, आपका शो पहचान है।
मैम मेरी आवाज ही पहचान है. I'm the moderator and host also. तो वही यही गाना पड़ेगा at all. Thank you so much. Had a wonderful time. I hope you all had learned and enjoyed, and we came to know about. People will come to know about you all, and it should be known. We should be recognized as an educationist. We are in the best profession where we see. Thank you so much, Shikha ma'am. Thank you, Aradhana ma'am. Thank you, JK sir, Pratima ma'am, and Nirmal Shah sir for coming to the show and giving your valuable time. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
Thank you much, Mr. Shah. Please do.
Thank you to all my panelists and to Mr. Chandok also.
my
Thank
pleasure.
you, everyone. Good evening.
Aradhana, ma'am. Thank you. Bye bye.
Very good evening.
Bye-bye. Thank you.